Yeah. What can I do you for?
Where's Locke?
I don't know. He said something about going to the store for a pack of smokes.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Morose Project. I'm Brad Rosen, and we don't have Aaron today, but I have a very special guest for you guys. This is actually, in addition to talking with Aaron, this is kind of the whole reason why I wanted to start the podcast, was so I can catch up with old friends and just bullshit and everything. And today we have my oldest friend. He's probably the person that I've known the longest other than, family members. I've known him longer than I've known anybody, and he's one of my best friends. And here he is. His name's Eric Sinisteros. Welcome to the show, sir.
What's up, y'all?
I thought this would be fun, just, because like I said, you're one of my best friends, but also just, you know stuff that probably nobody else knows.
That's an understatement.
Yeah. You mentioned it yesterday, but I didn't want to talk too much about it. But you mentioned that you still remember vividly the first day we met, which I kind of remember, but not too well.
Dude, it was like a Halloween moment, because you're just kind of standing in the back, and I was telling Derek, who's this kid over here? And he's like, I don't know, but he might murder us in our sleep, so we might just, talk to him. But then, you just came up all of a sudden, and it just, I don't know, it was weird. We just started talking about, movies and stuff, and it was like, hey, this guy seems alright. Let's keep talking to him, you know? And after that moment, we were just, together all the time, and not in, totally statutory way, but still. And, everyone knew us as, that group of, friends we were with, And,
yeah.
And I just remember it vividly because it was funny that it was just at the same time being completely random too.
Yeah, I don't really remember a whole lot. I remember, I feel like we were introduced by another friend.
Were we? I don't really remember.
I feel or maybe not necessarily introduced, but I think I was hanging out with somebody, and that was why
I
didn't talk to you guys really. But yeah, once you start talking movies, that immediately turns...
It caught your fancy.
Exactly. It turns a switch in my brain, and it's oh, I know stuff about movies.
The orgy switch in your brain.
If I hear people talking about politics or something else, I'm oh, I don't know nothing about this.
Turn off
so,
for me. Not even a feeling down there.
Not even that, but it's just I don't know, so I'm oh, I have nothing to add to this conversation. But if I hear people talking about movies, it's I know way too much about this stuff. But yeah, I also remember that day that we met. You Eric is Mexican, just so you know.
I do not sound it. I am the whitest Mexican you'll ever lay eyes upon.
But that day we met, you told me you were Cuban, and I believe. Not only did I believe it for a while, but even when you told me you weren't Cuban, I thought you were joking then. So I still, even after you told me you weren't Cuban, I still for a while thought you were at least half Cuban.
You should have made me an Emmy.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I remember about that day. But then we hung out every day at school after that, and
the rest is history.
Yeah, a long and winding road. I've been many places. You've been
absolutely nowhere. Born and raised Oklahoma.
You've been many different places in the same town. That's
different
something.
Streets of addresses and zip codes within the Oklahoma area.
Hey, at least you're not in the same house, and I don't know.
Oh my God, I know.
Yeah. But anyway, so you said you wanted to talk a little bit about video games.
Yeah, I just know that you're not too video game fancy with it, because I play online a lot, and I know you don't play online very much.
No, I don't ever have fun, because I die every 10 seconds. So
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the fun in this? I don't know. And I love video games. It's just I don't have time for as much, so it really has to be like, it either has to be something that I've been playing for years, like a sequel to a game that I've played, or something that just looks absolutely amazing in order for it to totally grab my attention.
Well, see, that's like how I am too, because then I started playing online a lot, and I mean, like, I don't mean Call of Duty. I don't mess around with Call of Duty. Too many little kids about doing your mom, and I didn't buy this $60 headset to hear I did your mom in HD. I'm not gonna do that. And like, I play like Last of Us online. I'm actually pretty decent at it. I mean, you know, no big deal, but still, it's something that like passes time, and you know, like with video games, you know, just kind of, it's like a way to escape yourself by being in the shoes of somebody else that, you know, hopefully that's like the story isn't complete garbage, or like the gameplay isn't so broken to the fact that you're like stuck on a ladder. Like I was playing this one game, oh my god, dude, I hate that game. I'm not going to mention any names because they're probably listening right now, but still.
You gotta tell me what game it was. And how do you get stuck on a ladder?
You get stuck on a ladder by trying to climb down a ladder, and your character is literally moving the motions of going down the ladder, but still being in place.
That's hilarious. Oh,
And-
that's just like a bug or a glitch.
It's
What
horrible.
game was that though?
The
Like-
Division.
Oh, yeah, you've seemed to have a lot of problems with
Oh,
that game.
dude, like, they told me to delete my account and start over from scratch. I have 20 plus hours in that character. No, thank you.
Yeah, like you said, I don't play online a lot, but I don't know. I mean, I see the appeal, I guess, if you're good at it, but I'm not good at it, so I don't bother. It's just a lot more fun for me to play by myself, and that sounds much dirtier than I intended it.
Dude,
but,
any way it makes you happy, I would embrace it with the fullest extent.
So what video games are you looking forward to?
Honestly, I want to get Mafia 3. It looks amazing, and I also hear that I don't know how necessarily good this is going to be, but we're going to put the Ku Klux Klan and Mafia 3, and let me give you a little backstory to this game. It's set in 1968, so that was around the time that organization was at its highest, and it's set in New Orleans too. And I told Brad that I don't know if you're playing a black protagonist, but he's not white. I think he might be Dominican, which is, I mean, that's not any better, I guess, but like, you know,
I mean,
it's just kind of
at least
weird.
It's not another white guy.
Yeah, true.
I
And
mean, you can play any game and be a white guy.
yeah, it's just the thing I was concerned with, which is like the racist element to that organization we put in that game, because I don't remember a game ever having that kind of, you know, organization in there like that.
Well, I mean, the thing you showed me earlier made it seem like you're gonna like fight or kill him. It's not like, oh hey, this is the game where we celebrate the KKK.
The lynch mobs
Yeah,
and stuff. I hope you get to stop them.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, granted, it could turn out well, but I think even like just one mission where they're like, hey, pretend to be a member of the KKK, I'd be like, no, thank
Maybe
you.
you're like Trevor from GTA 5 and you get to join them for like a little bit and then like murder them from the inside out.
Maybe. Yeah, see, what's funny to me is, like, I know Mafia because you've played the other two, and you enjoy them, but I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
really heard anybody else talk about it, and I know most of my friends are pretty big into gaming, so I was a little surprised that they were even making a third one, because I was like, I didn't think they were popular enough
It's kind
to...
of like it's like those kind of games that got overshadowed by the Godfather games.
Yeah,
And-
which is weird, because
Yeah, and the
neither
Godfather
of those
games
are very good either.
yeah, like, well, they're better in a sense that they're more sandbox, open world type
Yeah.
games. Because with Mafia, you
Well, I
just
thought Mafia 2 was
Well,
sandbox.
it is, but like you have a linear storyline, and then once you finish the storyline, you can't go into the game and messing around with the map or go around anything. Like you have to explore things while you're in mission mode, basically, and it's
Oh, that's kind of lame.
yeah, it is really lame, and I find it difficult to do those kind of things when you're supposed to be doing a mission,
Yeah.
you know, and like it's like obvious that they want you to do the mission. Oh, excuse me, sorry. But,
Science.
yeah, it's just kind of confusing why they would have you do other like collectibles and all that when you're not even supposed to be moving around the map like that.
Yeah, it's like, hey, kill this guy, but first.
But first,
Get a
come
donut.
over here and kill this guy.
Yeah. That is weird. Well, I guess that's kind of a little bit how L.A. Noire was, which
I
I-
like that game.
I like Rockstar. They make Grand Theft Auto, which is one of my favorite
Red Dead Redemption.
series. They make Red Dead
Freaking
Redemption, which I
amazing.
love. They made Manhunt, which
This-
is very different from the other games they make, but it's still enjoyable.
It
but
is.
L.A. Noire, I think, is definitely my least favorite, and not for any reason other than I don't know.
I'm not a very good detective.
I didn't. Well, it felt like even if you were a good detective, they were going to change who the killer was at the end.
Exactly.
And so that was kind of a bummer. And then it also was annoying because, like, I always played the main character as, like, a good dude who, like, was faithful to his wife and everything. And then, like, they just do a cutscene where it's like, oh no, he's been cheating on his wife the whole time.
Spoiler
It's
alert.
like, well, yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Like,
I know. If you haven't played that game by now, shame
yeah,
on you.
Yeah, you're not going to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was like the least popular Rockstar game ever, so it's not like
It's
they're
also
gonna,
one of the like most expensive Rockstar games they make because
they're not gonna do
facial recognition and whatnot.
Yeah, but I don't think they're gonna do a PS4 release of that
I hope
particular
not.
one.
I would not waste anyone's other good money besides
Yeah.
my own.
So, like, I don't know. I mean, it was a fun game, but it felt like no matter what you did, it didn't really matter.
Either ways, it was still gonna happen.
Yeah, so that was why I didn't really care for it as much. Also, like, and again, spoilers if you're gonna get mad about this type of thing, but like
Don't care.
one of the last couple not even one of the last couple missions, I'd say about like 3/4 of the way into the game, like the main character fucking dies.
Yeah,
and then you have to play as this asshole that you never really even
No,
got
he doesn't
along with.
die. He like gets captured.
Oh, it does it? I thought he died.
No, he didn't die till like the very last mission.
Oh, okay.
Remember that was the water mission.
Well, so he still dies. He
Spoilers.
just he doesn't die as early as
Yeah,
I thought.
but you
yeah,
do
you
switch
play
to
like
that
the
guy.
last 1/4 of the game as a totally different character.
Yes, an asshole.
Which was annoying. I mean, they kind of did that in Red Dead Redemption, but it was like technically they only did that at the very end of the game, so it was more forgivable. But
It
yeah,
wasn't forgivable.
yeah, because his son was pretty terrible. But
That literally had like one of the best ending missions I've ever seen in
Yeah.
a game. I mean, just the epicness to it, and like I felt like I was in a Clint Eastwood movie playing that game. Honestly, like
you know what's funny is like I was never a huge, not necessarily I wasn't a huge fan of westerns. I just never really came across westerns.
okay,
I kind of feel, and like I don't mean this in a shitty way at all, but I kind of feel like watching westerns is something a lot of young boys do with their dads.
that's true.
And my dad wasn't around,
right.
because he's dead. Just for anybody who doesn't know, I don't want people to think I have a dad who's like who left my family. He died. It's totally different. But anyway, A, because of that, and B, even if he was around, I kind of feel like westerns weren't his type of movie. Maybe because he's British. I think westerns are I think they can be enjoyed by other countries, and I'm sure they have, because they still fucking make them, but I for sure think they're more American.
Western British movie.
So now I would pay to see that. Just tally ho, chap. But
I just thought of Daniel Craig in Aliens versus Cowboys.
I don't remember anything about that movie. The only thing I remember about that movie is it was originally supposed to be Robert Downey Jr.
The
but,
massive arm laser cannon on his arm. That's what I remember.
But so I just never really was into westerns, and not because I thought they were bad or anything, but I just I'd only come across a handful in my life up to the point when I played Red Dead Redemption. But I loved that game so much.
Oh God, yes. And they're remastering
so
it too.
I don't have the that's awesome. So I don't have the same connection because I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen any Clint Eastwood
Really?
I've seen Clint Eastwood movies, but I don't think I've seen any
any of
Clint
his
Eastwood westerns.
Oh man, like you said about the dad thing.
So-
Like I did watch a lot of westerns with my dad because, I mean, you're gonna think I'm old, but I'm like the same age as Brad. But I watched Bonanza, Gunsmoke, The Rifleman, all those old shows that were way before my time, and makes me feel even more old. So thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, good shows, great shows, actually. And
Uh-huh.
I say, if anyone's interested in watching stuff like that, I mean, I would say go do it.
Yeah. But so I never got that feeling playing that game. But I just remember, and again, spoilers for that game as well. I remember the last mission, like, I legitimately thought, I was like, oh, you could totally, because there was like, I don't know, 10 or more guys that were
Yeah.
all there to kill you specifically. And I was like, oh, this is a video game. I could easily kill these 10 guys before they kill me.
Considering we
But,
killed
like-
50 guys before that.
But, like, no matter what you do, there's, like, no way that you can kill more than, like, 2 or 3 of them before they all gun you down.
Yeah,
And, like,
it was pretty brutal.
so, and then on the very last... Technically, that's the last mission of the game, but in order to get the credits or whatever, it skips forward, like, 18 years or something, and you play as his son, who's now
A
a
total
full-grown
bitch.
adult.
He is.
Well, he was as a child. You don't
Well, he
really know him
sounds
very well. Yeah,
An
his
unmanly dude.
they got a crappy actor to do his voice,
They
but I
did.
mean, like, that's neither here nor there. You don't really spend enough time with the character. Although I will say if they make a sequel, which I've heard they are, but nothing is official, so I won't say anything until they officially announce it. I hope to everything that it's not him. I hope it's a new story. Either like, I don't know, maybe you play as the character from Red Dead Redemption, like when he was younger,
I don't know, I heard there was
or
gonna
you
be-
play as a totally different character.
Like,
Either one of
prequel or
those, I would be
something.
okay. I'd be okay with prequel. I just do not want to play as the kid.
Yeah,
the-
like
the
I heard it
son.
was gonna be prequel. It's like under the working title of Red Dead Renegades, and that's just a working title. It's not permanent and it's not final or anything, so it's subject to change.
I don't know. I kind of like that. though.
I do
It's
like
not
that.
bad.
It's it's
Um,
keeping up with the triple R type of.
Yeah,
you know,
Red Dead Revolver.
Dude, I like
Red
that game
Dead
too.
Redemption. I never played Revolver. I bet then.
It's
I don't
about the
think
same thing.
Revolver was made by Rockstar. I think they didn't come on until Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, you're playing a guy named Red.
Well, that's very.
A generic white man's name.
Well. at
Hey,
least-
Red, come here, son.
I'm gonna stick my foot up your ass.
Yeah,
What if it
tally
was?
ho,
What
son.
if, what if it was Red from that '70s show? That would be hilarious.
What was it he always said? Eric!
Hey, Eric. Yeah, he always threatened to put his foot up his ass. That's all I
I
really
think that was
remember.
like their special father-son bonding kind of thing. It was kind of creepy.
You could call it that. I just literally think he didn't like his child. Because back in the 70s, nobody really, I wouldn't say nobody liked their children, but you could be a dick to your children and nobody would say anything.
It's true.
Whereas now, and rightfully so, because obviously it fucks with a kid's head to be an asshole to him. But,
It does.
now, like, if you were a dick to your child, at least in public, everybody'd be like, oh,
He's a horrible father.
yeah. I don't know, though. But,
Speaking from experience, I actually have 2 kids, and there's a funny story with that. My kids are pretty young, 4 and 2, and I'm an anime fan, so basically they watch Dragon Ball Z. I know, yeah, 4 2-year-olds not supposed to watch Dragon Ball Z. Sue me, whatever. But anyways, we were watching a fight scene, and my youngest was watching the TV. He all of a sudden runs over to my oldest, punches him in the face. My oldest retaliates by kicking him in the stomach, and they just start duking it out. And I run over and I pick him up by the collars, and I was like, "What are y'all doing?" And they're like in midair, like they're fighting, like they're floating in midair, like fighting each other. I was like, "Really? No more
funny.
anime for y'all."
yeah. As you know, I don't have anything against anime. I just never.
That's not your cup of tea.
Yeah, I never. I mean,
I would never force you to watch it.
I
anyways.
never attempted to watch it, so I wouldn't really even know. I mean, I've seen a couple episodes of like some show, and
Was
all
it
I
Bleach?
no,
Oh, it was Bleach. Wasn't
no. All I remember is I was like, oh, this animation is really bad, and I stopped paying attention. Because I don't know, it's the same reason why I've never watched Bob's Burgers. I just look at it and I'm like, oh, this show is really ugly.
Dude, the chick
And-
I like loves that show.
But-
dude. So that means
That's
I
funny.
love that show.
Yeah, but it's funny because like especially in the early seasons, now it's all computer animated, so it looks great, or as great as it can. But
Still sucks.
and that well, no, I'm talking about something else.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
In the early seasons, South Park looked terrible, but I think kind of because it was like one of those shows where like they did it all themselves, like they didn't, like these big shows like Family Guy and Simpsons, they like ship off the scripts to Korea, and then a bunch of sad Asians who get paid $1 an hour.
Sad
draw.
Asians. Why do they have to be sad?
Well, I'm assuming they're sad because they get paid so terribly. But I don't know, maybe they're happy. Maybe they're like, we like Simpsons. I was going to do a voice, but then I was like, oh, that's probably really bad. So it's okay to do a funny British voice, but I don't think it's okay.
Tallywhackers, that's what they are.
Oh, tallywhacker.
Which I saw,
should've
that was
just
like
done,
a really bad
I should have
British
just
word.
done the British version, the British
What's
voice
it
for the
called?
Korean guy. So anyway, like those kind of places, like they ship off their stuff to have animators draw it, whereas like there are animators that work on the show now, but like they all do it in house, like, and especially nowadays they write the show like within a week of when it comes out. So they animate it just as fast as they write it.
That's crazy how
but-
quick they do that.
So I think that might, and plus I was a kid when I watched that, so I think
you
it was
didn't
easier
really care
to.
that kind of stuff anyway.
Yeah, but nowadays, like, it's hard for me to watch something with shitty animation.
Well,
So-
man, that's how I feel about anime too.
That's why I don't watch Bob's Burgers, or I don't watch like a lot of anime or other stuff that I can't think of right now. It's also kind of why I don't watch like black and white movies anymore, because I'm like, well, we've had color for like 60 plus years, so we don't need
Get
black
with
and
the
white
times.
anymore. And like, of course, there's exceptions, because like Clerks was black and white
American
because
History X, black and white.
was the whole movie black and white?
It was half because
Yeah.
it was showing the parallels of just how they see things as black and white.
Yeah.
Really beautiful way of filming a movie.
Um,
And then like the present day was like in color, of course.
Yeah, but going back to my not as good example now, Clerks is in black and white because he couldn't afford to buy color film.
It still was like a cult classic. to
yeah,
people. I mean, you showed me that movie, and I was like, dude, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, or like Schindler's List, obviously,
Oh, that's a good
is
movie.
mostly in black and white, except for he wants to accentuate a few things, like he does the red hoodie or whatever, the red
The
that the
yellow
little
stars,
girl
too.
wears, and yeah, the yellow stars. And of course, there's Sin City, which is
Oh,
mostly
man,
black and white,
beautiful.
except for a few pieces here and there.
The blood, especially.
And then there's the yellow guy.
Oh, I can't.
Well, I just mean he's yellow. They call
creepy,
they call him the yellow guy, the yellow bastard.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of funny if he was in black and white, like the rest of the movie. But he's not. He's yellow. He's kind of like a Simpson. Not really.
No one addresses the fact that they're yellow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they're yellow. Like it's normal. Like obviously, when they do stuff like the crossover with the Futurama people or the crossover with Family Guy, it's weird that they're yellow because the people on those other shows aren't yellow.
You should so
But-
say.
When when you're on just a regular episode of Family Guy, it's not weird that they're yellow because everybody's yellow on that show.
Should so tell them what happened yesterday when we were hanging out.
I
I'm
will
talking
tell them, but it's just I don't know. It's a funny little story. I don't know how funny it'll be.
No,
for
I
you,
mean
but-
like that too, but that I've never seen The Simpsons ever. I've only seen maybe one episode out of the 28 plus years they've been on. So as we were watching it, and I said, "Hey, it'd be funny if like they did a crossover with like Futurama and The Simpsons." And you're like, "They have done one." And I was like, "Really? When?" He's like, "Oh, a while back ago."
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, and then you go and look on the TV guide the next episode, and it's
Yeah.
that same episode.
Like literally half an hour later from when we were watching was the Simpsons Futurama crossover.
I'm telling you,
It's,
I can tell the future.
It's kind of funny when, you know, little things happen like that.
It was a sign, man.
Yeah, I guess so. Science. What a terrible movie. I lost faith in M. Night Shyamalan about a movie before everybody else did. That's neither here nor there. I just...
What a twist.
Although I will admit, I liked The Village more than most people did.
Never seen that movie.
But it's not that good.
Okay.
It's good in a sense, like if you have watched it, it's better than people say. But if you can avoid it, then go ahead and avoid it. It's not like you're missing anything.
I'll continue to dodge that train.
Yeah, because it's not terrible, but it's not great either. I mean, he's definitely made some...
Unbreakable, dude. God, I love that movie.
well, I was going to say bad movies, but Unbreakable is good. Lady in the Water was not very good.
I've never seen that one either.
Signs is my least favorite, which is funny because a lot of people are probably like, what about that shitty Airbender movie he made? And I'm like, well, I never watched the show,
I did.
so I don't know how good it is compared to the show, but it was...
It's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, it was not a good movie, but it wasn't worse than Science, in my opinion. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about M. Night Shyamalan, because he's had his time. Although that movie he did last year called The Visit,
It's kind of creepy.
I didn't think it was creepy. I thought it was kind of dumb,
It was
but...
predictable.
Yeah, and I hate, and I go back on this a lot, but I hate 90% of child actors. And the little girl was really good, but the little boy was fucking terrible.
Annoying, man.
And although to be fair, that might have been the way the character was written. Maybe the little boy was good at being the annoying.
Good at being annoying.
Yeah, because, like, he's this little white boy, and they wrote him to be like a
Wannabe rapper.
Yeah, and it was terrible. But it had some really interesting moments. But I don't know. It was definitely better than some of his other movies, but I still didn't really care for it. So there you go. There's a review of a movie that's only a year old, so it makes it slightly more relevant. But anyway, what else you got? We have so many, like, it's funny, we didn't really talk about what stories we should talk about other than, like, the story of how we met, but, there's so many stories we could tell,
Man.
And so many in-jokes we could do, and it would be funny to us, but nobody else would get it.
You would look at us like, we need to do something to put them out of their misery.
Yeah, like, if anybody didn't shut off when they heard that Aaron wasn't on, they definitely would have shut off by now. I don't know, it's probably just the pessimistic side of me, but I always just assume that, like, and obviously my friends and family listen for me, so they're hopefully still listening, but, like, part of my brain just thinks, like, oh, they hear Aaron's not on, and they're just like, well, fuck it, and they just, shut it off.
Well, dude, like,
But, hey, keep it on, at least keep it on, although it's too late now, because if they already shut it off, it won't matter, but if you ever listen to an episode and you're just not interested, just, like, mute your computer or whatever, and just keep it running a little while so we get the view count, because that'll make me feel better. Because even though I know it means absolutely nothing, it makes me sad when I see how some of our videos have, like, 40 plus views, and then other videos have, like, 10. And, like, it's weird, because it's always the good ones that have the fewer views, and maybe that's because people watch it all the way through, whereas other ones, maybe they watch, like, half at one point and half at another.
Well, that's what I did with you when you told me about this, because I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
Then I went and picked an episode that had the lesser views, and I watched it all the way through.
Yeah.
Then I picked another one with a lot of views, so I kind of was... Because I was real nervous about doing this kind of thing. I've never actually recorded my voice doing anything, and it's just, I don't know, like, I'm not that great to look at, so I depend on this velvet smooth voice for me to get past, any kind of obstacle I have.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing we're in audio.
I know. I won't have to scare nobody.
That being said, though, I don't know. I haven't most people. I haven't really, and I always say anybody who wants to be on, I want on, because I like the idea of having other people on, because I feel like you can know a person for years and not really know them, but you could just have one good conversation with a person, and then you're like, oh, I know that person better from that one conversation than I knew fucking hanging out with them for 5 years.
Yeah.
And
that's just best friends right there.
Yeah. So not even like best friends. Like you could like sit down with some dude that you're like, oh, this guy's an asshole. I hate this dude. But if you go in with like the idea of like, I'm gonna talk to this guy, and sure he's an asshole, but I'm not gonna talk to him like he's an asshole. I'm gonna talk to him like he's a regular guy.
Exactly.
And then by the end of the conversation, maybe he is an asshole, but I would think,
At least you had a conversation. Though.
Yeah, 8 or 9 times out of 10, you're like, oh, that guy, maybe you still don't like the guy, but you're like, oh, he's not an asshole, or he's not as much of an asshole as I thought he was. I realize I'm saying an asshole a lot. Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Robin.
But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of my whole thing with it, is like, I understand being nervous talking, but it's like, my favorite thing is like, once you get to a certain point in conversation, like, you just talk forever.
Oh God, yes. We've had hours of conversation just about random stuff all the time.
Like yesterday when I went over to pick you up, like we were talking for a while, and I sat there and I was like, fuck, I wish that my phone had higher battery, because I just would have recorded that, because that would have been perfect, because we were just talking about absolutely nothing, which is like
for like 2 hours.
Which is like the perfect thing to me, and like I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but clearly podcasts are popular because there's like a fucking million of them, and I think part of what makes them fun is they're just like so conversational. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, that's what I love about them. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe other people are like, oh, we only like them when they talk about stupid stuff. But I don't know. So yeah. Also, this is apropos of nothing, but you are definitely the person I know that knows the most about comics. Like, you probably know even more than I do, which is tough for me to admit, because I always, even when I know somebody knows something more than me, I'm always like, you don't know more than me. I'm like, fuck you, I know everything there is to know about comics. I created Batman. It's like, it's not,
I am Jesus.
No. It's like not true at all, but most of the time, and of course there are times where somebody will talk to me like that. They're like, oh, I know more about Batman than you. It's like, oh, really? Because I've been reading Batman since I was like old enough to read Batman.
Old enough to know what a Batman is.
Yeah, and it's like, you've only been watching Batman since Batman Begins came out 11 years ago. It's like, F you, dude. I know Batman.
I have to say, like, you probably know way more about Batman than I do.
I will admit I probably know more about Batman than you do. I probably know more about Batman than a lot of people, other than, say, like, people who have written Batman and Kevin Smith.
You're like, that's like your man crush besides The Rock.
I know.
And yes, I did watch that or listen to your podcast about you wanting The Rock's man meat. And I was like, that's perfectly fine, man. Like, do what makes you happy, but just remember, have it be consensual, man. Don't make him.
Well, believe me, there's no way in a million years I could ever overpower The Rock. All I was ever saying is he would not have to overpower me. I would.
Oh my God! Why?
I don't know. It's just like that dude.
It's that bald head, isn't it?
I don't know. It took me and I know this is weird, but I go back to, I've liked The Rock because I'm a big fan of WWE. I'm on and off. Like, I stopped watching for, I don't know, maybe like 8 years or something, and I just started watching again a couple years ago. But when I first was watching, I was a huge fan. The Rock and Stone Cold were the two most popular guys on the company, and they were my two favorite wrestlers. And so I guess since I've liked The Rock that long, it was weird for me for a while that he was bald. I was like, at least grow a little bit of hair. Like, and when he had the goatee in the Fast 5 movie, I was like, shave that shit off your face. But like, I don't know. I still don't really like the goatee, but I've grown accustomed to the bald head. But that's neither here nor there. I've just like, you know,
we all have a man crush, dude. I got like 3 of them. I'm not saying any names.
Well, you got to. You can't bring it up and then not.
Okay, I'll give you one just because I'm.
I mean, come on. That
awesome.
Same episode you were just talking about, I fucking told not only like friends and family how I lost my virginity, but it's on YouTube. Anybody could just be like, what the hell is this? And click on it. And like a million, you know, this will never happen, but a million strangers could find out how I lost my virginity. If somehow that video wound up on the front page of YouTube.
That would be freaking amazing.
But like if that were to magically happen and like a bunch of people clicked on it, like a million of strangers would know how I lost my virginity. So like the small thing of you revealing your man crush is really, in hindsight, not a big
because
deal.
Like I got 3, but I just can't choose between them because I would just take them all.
I mean, you don't have to choose one. Just name them all.
Okay.
I'll tell you another one. I'm gonna guess that one of my other man crushes is on your list. If I'm wrong, I'd be genuinely surprised.
Well, you go ahead.
No, you go first.
Okay, fine. Charlie Hunnam. That man is just unbelievable. He is a great actor.
British Charlie Hunnam or American Charlie Hunnam?
I don't know. Either one just kind of hits a chord.
Because, I mean, like, British Charlie Hunnam is the real Charlie Hunnam, but with the exception of a couple episodes of Sons of Anarchy, he did a pretty good American accent. One of my favorite things to do, and this is my small ADD at work here, but one of my favorite things is when I watch a show, and I know that one of the actors, a show or a movie, I guess, and I know an actor is British, I love just watching to see if, like, ever they slip. Like, and their British accent when they're supposed to be playing an American character.
Like Laurie, like you're waiting for that moment.
Yeah, and I would say, like, and granted, it's been a couple years since I've seen an episode of House, but I would say Hugh Laurie and House are probably like the best example of a British guy, like, rarely, if ever, slipping back into his British accent. But fucking the kid from Bates Motel, he's terrible at it. He slips back into the British accent all the time. And like I said, Charlie did a couple of times on Sons of Anarchy. And there are others, but those are just the 3 that come to mind. Anyway, that does not surprise me at all, that man crush, but that is not the one.
If anyone knows me, I am decked out in Sons of Anarchy gear all the time.
Yeah, that is your favorite show by far.
Also, the other one would be Robert Downey Jr.
Yep, that was the one that was the one that I knew. I was like,
sexy Robert Downey.
I was like, I know one of them's gonna be Robert Downey Jr. And I was like, me too, man, me too. So good choice. And who's the third?
Johnny Bosch, the Black Ranger. You don't know him, do you?
Was he from the original Power Rangers?
He took over after the black guy, Walter Jones. He took over after him.
And he played the Black Ranger?
He played the Black Ranger, and then became the Green Zeo Ranger, and then the Green Turbo Ranger. Then, I guess they didn't negotiate his contract, and he got written out of the show.
Yeah.
But anyone who's a big anime fan like me knows this guy's voice. He is iconic in anime. He voices 20-something plus characters. That's just on hand I could think of. And, like that anime I told you, Bleach, he plays the main character on that one. And I know his voice just from anything. And God, yes. I love him.
Now this is not anything but like because I don't know this man because I think I stopped watching Power Rangers after the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I could be wrong, but that's the last time I remember.
He was in that movie too.
Was he?
Yeah, the Black Ranger.
And he's black. Yes.
No.
He's white.
No, he's like
Mexican.
I wouldn't say
Asian?
Mexican. Like
He's
Asian.
not Asian. No, is
Kinda.
he Asian?
Like it's form of Asia. You're gonna make me look this up now.
All right. Well, while you do that, yeah. I don't know. And there's like a million different kinds of Power Rangers. It's crazy, and like a lot of them are on Netflix, except for the only one that matters, which is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Sorry to any of you people who are fans of later Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Don't sing too much of that. We could get sued.
Oh my God! Copyright infringement.
Yeah, it's just a good old time, like a little bit of copyright.
Just like you said, you walked by that coffee place. You're like,
Oh,
smells
yeah.
like copyright infringement.
Yeah, there's this coffee place in Lawton. Okay, yeah, I guess he is Asian. He does look Asian anyway, which would make sense considering all the voices he does in anime, and not to be stereotypical. But so anyway, there's this coffee place in the mall in Lawton, and it's called Central Perk, and it's totally a ripoff of Central Perk from the Friends TV series. I don't know how many of you remember it, but if you're my Facebook friends, probably a lot, because I see shit still being posted about that all the time. But anyway, the coffee shop that they go to in like every episode of Friends is called Central Perk, and it's clearly a ripoff of that in the Lawton Mall. And so I was telling you earlier, whenever I walk by it, because I can always smell the coffee whenever I walk by it, so I always just take a big whiff, and I'm like, smells like copyright infringement. And I don't know, it makes me laugh, even if nobody else gets it. It makes me laugh. Yeah. But anyway, that was fun. We went to Lawton.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was
dude.
nice to hang out. I didn't get anything that I had hoped to get.
It was really depressing, but we had fun.
Yeah, I was hoping to find both a Halloween costume, and I wanted to get some Harry Potter swag, because now that I know what house I'm in, I want to represent. Also, I know, like, in 2 weeks or so, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks, I don't know exactly when, but there's going to be, like, a Harry Potter thing in Oklahoma City, and I want to go, so
Really?
I wanted to have some Harry Potter stuff to wear. Ravenclaw, by the way, in case anybody's wondering what house I am.
Hufflepuff son, represent.
You don't know that. I'm gonna make you sign up for an account just so you can find out.
Oh, fine.
I bet you are probably a Hufflepuff. I could see you being a Ravenclaw as well, though.
I like ravens. I have 2 raven tattoos.
You do. And you got claws. Kitty got claws. Sorry. But yeah, it was fun. Either way. Now that I think about it, I want a freaking Ravenclaw scarf.
I want that shirt that I saw.
Yeah, they had some good shirts, just nothing that I could fit into, unfortunately.
Big guys need love too, people.
It's fat guy problems for you. FGP right there.
FGP.
So you told me you had a joke that you wanted to say.
Oh, yes. I actually want to make a little running gag here with this, because like I won't be on here very often, but when I do, I'm going to make a joke.
I would like
share with you
to,
guys.
and I know this is probably easier said than done, but every time, and for those of you who don't know, I'm down in Altus right now, and that's why we were able to hook up and hang out and everything. But I'm going to try now, especially if this goes over well, to get you on every time I come down to Altus.
That would be great, dude.
Yeah, or like, I don't know, granted I still probably won't come down to Altus a whole lot, maybe like once a month or something.
Anytime you come down, you just hit me up, and
yeah.
I'll be more than happy to do this again.
For sure. But, so anyway, you want to do a joke every time you're on, which I think is kind of cool. Like, it's nice to have, like, a recurring thing, which is why, like, we have, and as the show goes on, we'll have, like, callback jokes and everything, which, like, there's a thing me and Aaron do when whenever we say it's been a while, we always go, "It's been a while," like that song. um, so anyway, I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyway, Ravenclaw. I want a scarf. I'm gonna when we're done doing this, I'm gonna look on Amazon for a scarf. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to mention again that I'm a Ravenclaw for all you Harry Potter fans. If you're a Harry Potter fan and you know what house you are, let me know. Because I don't know what to do, but I want more, like, comments on the videos and stuff. I think that'd be cool. Like, the views are nice and everything, but it'd be nice to get, like, feedback every now and again. Obviously, I'm sure if they didn't like it, people would be like, F this, or something. But, you know, so I'm assuming for the most part it goes over well. But every once in a while. The one you told me yesterday was pretty funny.
Which one was I told you? Well, I don't want to say that because I don't like. I have a lot of racist jokes, and I don't want to say.
Well, I wasn't talking about a racist joke. I was talking about the one where the guy was talking to another guy, and he was like, "Hey, let me tell you a joke," and the guy goes,
"All right. I'll do that one."
Yeah, you know the joke better than
and
I do,
I'll be prepared for it next time, really, because. But as of right now, I told Brad this joke. So, all right, you ready? Okay. So, knock knock.
Who's there?
Sex.
I don't get it.
I know you don't.
That's like that made me laugh so hard when you told me that yesterday.
It's dumb. I know. It's just
it's genius. Of course, it relies a lot on the fact that the person's gonna say I don't get it. Because if they just go like sex who, then you gotta come up with a different punchline. But like, if a person does say I don't get it, then it's genius. It's a hilarious joke. But yeah. Anyway, well we're good, unless you got something else you want to talk about. We barely even scratched the surface. Like, I was really, and, you know, like I said, we can get into this any other time we hang out or whatever, but I definitely want to talk about some old high school stories and stuff. And then there's
we can do that for, like, another 15 minutes.
There's the post-high school stuff, which was funny. After we all graduated, Eric and another good friend of ours, Derek, worked at Bar S, which I'm sure you all know what Bar S is. Maybe not exactly, but I'm sure you've heard of Bar S. They worked at a plant where they make all the wieners and other stuff for Bar S. Wieners. But anyway, so, and they would work like 4 to 1 or something?
It was like 3 to like 2.
Okay. So, yeah, anyway, they got off super late at night. I always thought you guys were out by, 1 or 1:30.
Sometimes. It was mostly him waiting on me because I had to get everything out of the machines and whatnot.
I see. So, and they would, not always, but I'd say, 3 or 4 nights a week out of the 5 nights they worked, they would come over to my place, and I was, at the time, still living with my parents, so, they would just come over, and we'd go, eat or whatever after they got, because I worked, I worked at Blockbuster at the time, so
you worked normal hours.
Well, not necessarily normal, because I think, to most people, normal would be 9 to 5 or something. Or, more accurately, and it's always bugged me that they've called it 9 to 5, because I've never known, it's always 8 to 5 with, an hour lunch.
Exactly.
9 to 5, that's some bullshit.
That is bull.
But anyway, I would consider that more normal. I would work, at Blockbuster, I would usually work till 10 or 11 at night, and midnight, I think, on Friday and Saturday. So, I would still be up, because usually when I work that late at night, I can't fall asleep right away, so I'm usually up for, a couple hours. And then I would always be like, oh, well, my friends get off work in a couple hours, so I might as well just stay up anyway.
Yeah, man. Always went out to Whataburger.
Yeah, we'd go out and eat and stuff, and then they'd come back and hang out at my place.
Pass out on your floor.
And yeah, that was always the funny thing. We would play games or watch movies or whatever, and then I'd be asleep on my bed, and the two of you would be asleep on my floor, And then like my mom would walk in and she'd be like, "What?" And she'd like see everybody and she'd be just like, "Oh, whatever." And just like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. It was just funny to me.
Like I hung around your family so much that you actually introduced me to your other family that came down to visit y'all.
Yeah.
And there's like, what would y'all say? Like, this is our beaner or something? Your sister said that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not proud of that.
Yeah.
And granted, you know, it's a joke. It's not like I call all Mexicans beaner.
Oh,
It's
this was just for me.
specifically. And the joke at the time was he's like so not a beaner.
I know.
that was why we called him a beaner.
Listen to my soothing voice.
Because like he said earlier, he's the whitest Mexican I've ever met.
Oh man,
Yeah,
you're not lying on that one.
So that was always the joke.
It's a running gag for us.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, so yeah, like I don't know. I just always like it's really cool that like they never were like, you need to stop having people over like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, it was
like,
crazy.
Because they could have been, and you know, like yeah, I was an adult, but at the same time, I was an adult who was still living with my parents. So
Right.
like, and I think if we would have bugged them more, they probably would have been like, hey, knock it off. But luckily, we were never too rude or anything.
I didn't try to be like
Yeah.
your mom and your stepdad actually end up like saying, "Hey, why isn't Eric coming over here yet?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Wait, am I supposed to be there?" All right,
You're like our unofficial
adopted child.
Yeah. But yeah, like that. I don't know. We have so many like stories of that kind of ilk. And then there's also some great high school stories. Unfortunately, like one that I would love to tell one day, you weren't there for, because
Oh, man.
you actually, unlike us, went to prom senior year. Like
I hate it. Waste of money.
I don't know. I hated prom because I went junior year, and then I hated it so much I didn't go senior year. But then the girl I was dating at the time was a year younger than me, so I went for her senior prom. And I actually enjoyed that prom. Maybe it's because it was at a better venue, because
Yes.
our prom was at the high school cafeteria, whereas their prom was at like an actual place.
Warehouse.
The same place that like my sister got married at this summer.
Ah, okay.
Conveniently enough. But anyway, so for senior prom, you, me, Derek, another friend of ours, Cody, another friend of ours, Kim, and another friend of ours, Tiffany, all had planned on instead of going to prom, we were all gonna go camping for like I don't know if we just planned to go camping that one night or if we were gonna go camping for both nights.
Wish I
But
was there.
yeah, everybody like bailed at the last minute. Like Kim got sick, and then Tiffany kind of was never really on board, and then she definitely wasn't on board when she had a date for prom. And then you had ended up having a date for prom, and you said you tried to get out of it, but I think you wanted to go. You probably didn't enjoy yourself, but I think
did
you
not.
probably wanted to go
I
more than
regretted
you
it.
admitted. So it ended up just being me, Derek, and Cody. And I remember like it was cool the first couple hours, but then when it got nighttime, it got really cold, and like all I could remember is like I was in my sleeping bag, like trying to sleep, and it was freezing, and I was like, I'm not gonna be the one to do it, but I really hope somebody suggests like the without a paddle moment where we're like we gotta huddle together for warmth, and unfortunately it never happened, so we just froze our butts off that night.
I would have done it.
But then it was funny because then when we woke up the next morning, like both of them were like, "Oh, it was so freezing," and I was like, "Why didn't you say anything last night?" So yeah, that was fun. But like I
That
said,
sounds like fun.
I wish you would have been there. 'Cause
Yeah.
it would have been more interesting then. I honestly don't remember what else we did. Like we cooked that night. Cody made us some burgers, but I honestly don't remember anything else that happened that night. I just remember freezing our asses off and being sad that it wasn't the the anti-establishment fun that we had initially planned.
Yeah, I know we
Um,
made plans a lot like that, but it's just like we got busy with other
Yeah,
stuff.
shit happens.
You know, and
change your pants, move on.
yeah, pretty much.
I heard that the other day on some video I was watching, and it's gonna be my new motto for a while. I love it so much. But yeah, so that was just a little preview. There's many stories to
Oh,
come.
yes, there's so many. More.
And like, I can't make a promise on how often I'm down, but as often as I'm down, I'll at least try to get a hold of you. Obviously, with your kids and work and everything, it
Yeah.
might be a little difficult to get a hold of you, but I'll try for sure.
It'll definitely be like a recurring
Yes.
theme for like
Yeah.
an insight of how you were back in the past before they knew you,
Yeah,
to
because
how they know you now.
it's funny. Like, I'm still friends with everybody that I was friends with in high school, but I would say like, not entirely, but I'd say like 75 to 80%. I'm a different person now than I was back then, and I'm just glad that like my friends grew with me, and that like nobody like stayed. The snotty little kids we were back then.
know,
And I
right?
wouldn't even say we were snotty. Like, because that was kind of the reason why I liked all you guys, was you weren't snotty.
Yeah, we were like the down to earth group.
We were
honestly.
kind of all like the
Like the
emo
Breakfast Club.
girl in the Breakfast Club. I forget her name.
I
That was
know.
kind of our little group. We definitely weren't the jocks.
No.
And we weren't the
nerds.
popular kids, and we weren't nerds.
We were just us.
We might have been like Judd Nelson, maybe.
Yeah. I was gonna say Apatow for some reason.
That was the first name that came to my mind too, and I was like, well, that's not right. Then I was like, Judd Hirsch, and I was like, but who the fuck is Judd Hirsch?
Hirsch.
Like, I've
Old
heard that
bastard.
name before, but I don't like know who that is at all. But
He's an old
yeah,
bastard.
I'd say actually we were probably more like Judd Nelson than we were like, because what's her face was kind of emo. We weren't ever emo.
No.
So I'd say we were a lot more like a group full of Judd Nelsons.
Dude, look at this. Like, it's
Um,
almost an hour into the conversation.
That's funny because like sometimes I'll look down and I'll be like, oh, we've only been talking for 20 minutes, or like fucking, especially at the beginning, like I looked and I was like, we've only been talking for 5 minutes. How are we going to talk for an hour? But then like after a certain point in time, it's like, oh, dude, we've been talking for an hour.
Dude, that's what we do, man. We just sit and talk and like for anything, and
Yeah.
like you said, we have so many more stories we
Yeah.
can share, and we want to delve into that situation too, about how like our girlfriends during like high school and even after high school, and
Your girlfriends. I only had one girl. Well, not one girl. I took one girl out on a date twice. That didn't end well. And then there was another girl that I pined after for 95% of senior year, and that didn't end well. That really sucked because then I found out somebody else liked me that whole time I was pining
I know
after
that same
another
feeling,
girl.
dude.
But that's neither here nor there. That's all in the past now.
It's still fun to talk about sometimes.
Yeah, because I'm a big believer in if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Exactly.
So we'll
and
see
there's
what
nothing
happens.
wrong with that.
But yeah, I guess it was fun for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for doing it. I know you were a little nervous at first, but you couldn't really tell because fucking as soon as I asked you a question, you started talking.
Yeah, I don't
didn't-
ever shut up.
Like, luckily, it's only been you and one other guest so far, but I know there's going to be one point where somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, I totally want to do it, and then I'll get them on, and I'll be like, hey, and they won't say anything, and it'll be, like, eventually we'll get them to talk, but it might be a while, and I know that'll happen, because it's just bound to happen when you have people who aren't used to being recorded every week. I mean, fuck, I didn't think it'd be as easy with Aaron. Like me, I love to just talk about absolutely nothing. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I knew I wouldn't have any problems. But
And I was just nervous because I've never actually done anything
Yeah.
like this, But like this is just a first episode with me, you
Yeah.
know, and like I'll get the hang of it eventually, talking more about like certain subjects and more variation about it. And it's really cool you're doing this kind of thing because I was always wanted to do something like this with you too, and even with the stand-up comedy thing, like I think
Yeah.
you'd be really good at it too.
I don't know. I know I'm funny. It's just, can I be funny for
You
that
could
long?
be funny, sexy
And
for an hour.
yeah, I'd be funny for an hour. It's just, can I stay on topic? And also, can I have enough topics to fill an hour? But so yeah. Thanks for coming on. Like I said.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks to everybody who's listening for being patient. I know we haven't had an episode in a while. Shit happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, life.
Yeah. Aaron's been working a different schedule at work, so it's been hard to get together with him. But the show will go on. I wanted to take the break at first, but now, this episode will go up whenever it goes up. But then after that, I'll try and keep to a schedule. If Aaron can't do it, I'll either try and get somebody else, or maybe I'll just do a bunch of half-hour ones that are just me. Because the thing is it'll make me feel better knowing that there's an episode up, and if nobody listens because they're not interested, then at least I know I filled my end of the bargain, which is to have something for people to listen to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's it for this week. We will be back next week, hopefully with Aaron, and hopefully with more recap of the Halloween movies. I want to finish that because it's fun. It's fun just because I love the Halloween movies, but it's also fun to get his takes because he clearly does not love the Halloween
He's
movies.
crazy.
But I can get it. I mean, like, I've grown up watching these movies, so if you haven't and you watch them for the first time, you're like, oh, this movie's very 80s style,
I guess,
or whatever.
'cause I mean, you watched some pretty off-the-walls kind of movies.
Yeah.
And
but,
I was like, I'm sorry, man.
like, and no offense to Scarface, but fucking,
Tony Montana.
I don't like Scarface. Like,
I love Scarface.
I know you do, and but like it's just because it's fucking way too long. There's no like. I hate to say this because I love movies, but I feel like there's no need for any movie to be that long. Like, if you can't make a movie 2.5 hours, then don't even bother. And even 2.5 hours is a bit of a stretch, but I'll give you 2.5 hours. But you take one more minute than that, you better be fucking great.
The Revenant.
And like I said, and Scarface is good, but I don't care for it for 3 reasons. The first of which, like I said, is it's too long. The second of which is everybody told me it's the greatest movie ever, so
Even I won't say that.
when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's good, but it's definitely not the greatest movie ever, so that kind of took it down a notch for me. And it's definitely, I don't feel like in this day and age, there are some movies that, like, were made in, like, the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, and you could watch still today, and you're like, oh, shit, that's still a really good movie. Whereas I think it does, I don't think that Scarface aged very well, but that's probably just me. I'm sure I'm the only one who thinks that. But I think that, and we can have a difference of opinion, that's fine, but that's my opinion.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
I want to do a thing, and we were supposed to do it with a specific person, but they haven't got back to me on whether or not they even want to be a guest on the show anymore. But I want to do a thing of movies that everybody loves that you don't. Because
me or
no, like whoever's on that week, like for me, I have 3 on my list already. One of them is Scarface, so I kind of just gave away one of them. The other 2, I'll tell you when this is over, but I want it to be a surprise to the listeners and everything.
That's a good idea. I might make a list like that.
Yeah, we could do that. I mean, like I said, I want to do it with Aaron and the other guy who was initially, but I'd listen to your list. We could talk about your list, and you'd be like, you name something like Toy Story, and I'd be like, you're out of your fucking mind. Everybody loves Toy Story.
I would have said Twilight, to be honest.
But to be fair, not everybody loves Twilight. I was going to say nobody loves Twilight, but sadly that's not the case.
Oh, God, man.
And I'll admit, like, I've seen all those movies. some of them are okay, but Twilight is fucking garbage.
It
like,
is.
New Moon is okay.
Ugh.
Eclipse I actually thought was really good.
I like the Eclipse.
Breaking Dawn Part 1 I did not like. Breaking Dawn Part 2 I thought was really good.
Until
So,
they, the ending. Spoilers.
I don't remember the ending at all.
Well, I'm not gonna say it then.
But yeah, so I'm not shitting on Twilight. I'm just saying that I'm just saying that first movie is
Garbage.
is not good. It's garbage. But also, I don't believe that everybody loves Twilight. So I think you're okay. I'm talking more like, not even classics, because one of mine on my list is one that I think you also hate, and for good reason. And I think, like, everybody loved it when it came out, but now, with a couple years, everybody's like, oh yeah, that movie actually does suck.
Oh, you
But
caught my fancy now.
I'll tell you as soon as we're done recording.
Alright.
But, so yeah, I definitely want to do that at some point, because there's lots of movies that, and I'm not ever going to say anybody's opinion is wrong, because that's just dumb, but, sometimes we have difference of opinions. I'm sure there's a movie that I love that nobody else likes, but, or like, the Shaun of the Dead movies, like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. I think World's End is the best, but I know a lot of people.
I love Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, a lot of, and you like. I love Hot Fuzz, but I think most people would say Hot Fuzz is their least favorite. I think Shaun of the Dead is probably most people's favorites, and that's not bad because I love Shaun of the Dead, but me personally, I think World's End is the best of the three. And then people always are like, "What about Paul?" I'm like, Paul doesn't count because Edgar Wright didn't direct it, and
no Edgar Wright, no counts.
Yeah, that only matters to film nerds like me and Eric, but and a couple of other you people out there. But for the most part, people will be like, "Who's Edgar Wright?" And then I would
kindly ask you to get up and leave.
Keep the episode playing though, so we can get the view count. Just walk out of the room. Although, but by this point, the view count should have counted. I think you only have to watch like 5 or 10 minutes of a video for it to count. I'm not 100% sure though. But anyway, we're rambling, and it's fun for us, but I don't know if
probably
it's fun
get boring
for
to
everybody
y'all.
else.
I'm sorry.
So, yeah, it was fun. Let us know anything, really. I want more interaction, like... And people talk to me in person, but I want and I love the in-person interaction. Keep that up as well. But I want the online interaction too, because I feel like maybe that'll help me. I wouldn't say fix the show, because I don't think the show's broken, but like polish the show, I guess I could say.
You're tuning your fine art right now.
Yeah,
That's
exactly, something like that. So that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Eric for being our second guest, and our first official guest where we didn't have both hosts. So at least this isn't another episode where it's just me talking really fast. The only problem I had with doing the one by myself was I felt like I talked really fast because I was super nervous.
You go through a lot of subjects really quick when you're nervous, which is okay.
Exactly.
I mean, I do the same thing.
But yeah, I felt that was an issue. And maybe I was wrong, but that's how I felt about that.
Dude, your battery's just 69%.
Dirty. Speaking of 69, if you want to email us, the email is moroseproject69@gmail.com, because we're children.
That is freaking amazing.
And if you, for whatever reason, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel but don't like the Facebook page, then like the Facebook page. And if you like the Facebook page but aren't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Just be faithful to the Morose Project, please.
Yeah, just get our numbers up, man. I want to find somebody who doesn't know us at all, just one day leave a comment I'm listening in China and I find it very offensive what you said about Koreans. And I'll be like, but you're Chinese. And he's like, I live in China, but I'm Korean, you asshole. Anyway, I'm just rambling now. So thanks for listening this week.
Thank you, guys.
And as always, I'm Brad Rosen.
I'm Eric Sinceros.
And fat guys try harder.
What he said.